Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder. Today I'm featuring with three matches. A player named Coppen. Now, Coppen is probably a bit more famously known in War Thunder, especially on Twitch, under the name of Copsey. And he is, at least when I watch him, one of the best high tier players that I can enjoy in both tanks and also in planes. And especially in planes, we can enjoy today 3 matches in the Mig-21, the German one, and they're all pretty nice to watch. They are also cut down a little bit, cutting or editing out the downtime, and he will demonstrate what he can do with this plane. Now, he is very experienced. He has absolutely a good idea what he is doing most of the time, and nobody is safe from some missile fails. And so the thing is that very often, a lot of the matches that he plays, you intuitively would say, "Oh, I could do that as well. Oh, that is so easy to do." But here's the catch: a lot of the things in War Thunder look easy, and they are easy to get to the point where it really is easy. That's the difficult part, shooting a Tiger 2 in the side with a 90mm from a Super Hellcat is easy. But to get there, to find the position on the map, that's the difficult bit. Just to give you a relation there with for tankers. The same goes for ships. A lot of ships have great firepower, but they have low survivability. To then farm, for example, enemy PT boats because you sit behind an island and you just catch them unaware in a crossfire. That's looking easy because it is easy to get there, and to not get ambushed by a plane is then a combination of skill and luck. With planes, especially with jets, it's a little bit of a different thing, because very often you will see that he actually has somebody on his tail. The MiG-21 is a fantastic plane when it comes to the flight performance, but also in this case the German one with the 4 missiles. But the main gun armament, well, it leaves things to be desired, although it doesn't really seem to hurt Copsey's performance here. I'll call him Copsey just for the sake of it. And so I was actually watching a match on stream, or multiple matches, and at some point I just asked him, "Hey, can you just give me the replays, send me the replays?" And because I asked for them, this is obviously like with Justin Plays TV, I want to feature them because I think that he is severely underappreciated, that he is significantly underestimated. Not everybody might enjoy his stream, but I think not enough people had the opportunity to decide if they enjoy his stream or not. Because it's such a thing with War Thunder Twitch streamers. They just have a handful of viewers. The most that I've ever seen is, I guess, Fly Daily. If you have ever heard about him, well. The thing is, he catches a few hundreds, maybe a few thousands. And the same goes with Mike Goes Boom. Usually when there is a dev server around, right? But people that are streaming on a regular basis, they deserve, especially if they feature excellent gameplay, more than just a few dozens of viewers. And especially if it shows skill and patience, and just with good results. Especially in high tier, I think that this is not that easy to achieve, at least for me. That is my opinion, that is my experience. But people like Copsey, they seem to live high tier. They just see the matches differently. And the one thing that I wanted to highlight here is high tier chats. Now, you might have noticed recently that I have featured a lot of chat matches. I think there were especially 3 British chats in the last couple of days. I want to get into it. And first I damned air-to-air missiles, and then, I thought that they would be really cancerous, especially with the German Seahawk, premium, bringing it to relatively low battle ratings. I think that's not good, that's not right. On the other hand, if you are in the top tier region, right? Then air-to-air missiles are a tool that everybody seems to have. Nobody seems to bother with the nice kill, by the way. Nobody really seems to bother with the stock grind anymore. Everybody throws golden eagles at those planes. And here he celebrates his 6 kills with a crash at the end of the match, because Copsey. The next match, as you can see from the timer, is less than 8 minutes, and we're starting at 2 minutes, so a bit of action-packed match here, and that is actually a match that I remember from stream. So I really want to recommend you to give it a try, and I think this match will be released on the second day of the patch. I guess the patch is going live tomorrow, as I'm recording this on Monday. So surprisingly, that was his first kill. Yeah, phantoms. It's so funny. Second missile, and again, it looks like the missile is a little bit deviating and not really following the target. Now he tracks it, and that's his second kill. Looks easy, right? But again, it's the secret of top tier players to be in the right spot at the right time, and then a lot of the weapon systems will kind of do the rest for you. That's an F4C, and yet he fires another missile. Will it be his third kill? No, the missile misses. So that's always the third missile. I always, I very often myself got 2 kills with the very first 2 missile strikes, or missile shots, tries, whatever. But then it's always the third missile where you think, that's going to hit as well, and then it misses. Like it's an unwritten rule. But anyway, so I really learned a lot from him, and when I asked politely, that's important, in chat, how to, give me some tips and tricks how to shoot missiles more effectively, he gave a lot of tips with those missiles. And while he mostly spoke about the very missile system that he's using here on the German Mig-21, I think you must not underestimate the basic tips and tricks that you have to use those R3S with. Or the R60, I guess he's using. Yeah, that's more likely, the R60. Yeah, there are some of the better missiles, I guess, but you still cannot look at them as being foolproof. As you've seen, even missiles that he's shooting sometimes miss. So the question is, what do you do if you meet somebody like that on the enemy team? Well, I think it's time to kiss your ass goodbye. Because it doesn't really matter when it comes to tanks and when it comes to jets. He makes it look so easy. That was an easy 5th kill. So let's join him in the last gameplay, and that is a bit longer. As you can see, it takes more than half of the length of the video, and it will be with a stunning end. Or let's be a bit more precise, an ending that I did not expect to happen like that. So he again is going right into the furball. Whenever I try to get away with something like this, regardless of the plane, there is always that one missile or that one bullet or that one player that I just didn't see coming, that I just was not able to dodge, and I end up as the first kill looking like a complete noob. No, you're just looking like the noob you are, Napalm. Fuck off. So, talking about the missile that you didn't see coming, there is, just in a moment, where is it? He's looking behind himself, he's not waiting really for the missile warning. There it comes, and he turns outward, dodging the missile. Beautiful. Pitching and rolling at the same time. That really seems to screw with the missile seeking system. And does he try it again? Yeah, another one. The hunter is trying it, and again he turns outwards, not inwards. So very interesting right there. Mig-21MF tries to close the distance, and then he makes it into a 1 versus 1. He bleeds speed here in the turns, but he keeps the afterburner up. He does not seem to use the air brake. At some point, the Mig-21MF tries to wander off, and that is an overshoot if I have ever seen one. That's a big mistake. He just missed it with the shots, but he's activating the IR seeker, and we have a lot of limitations here in the replay, and this is something that I really want to highlight here. You don't see the amount of ammunition, you don't see the fuel or the temperature of the engines. A lot of the informations that you can see from the normal gameplay, you absolutely don't see in the replay. So again, this is a bit of a drawback for me for featuring people that I think are worth featuring. And so this is just something that very often lets you wonder, why is the player doing what he's doing, you know, when actually he is low on ammunition or fuel. So this is always where then, as a commentator, you have to go a little bit into the speculations, right? Aside from the person having mentioned this in the video description, or, you know, in the email description rather. That F-100 looked like a more or less safe bet on the missile, but then the missile got a little bit tired, and that was a nice dodge on the F-100's part. But again, Copsey is seeing the opportunity, he pitches up, he activates the next missile, and that MiG-21 is such an easy kill. And as Copsey said on stream, you're firing the missiles mostly at opponents that are already in a not so great position or situation. So then the missile just makes life easier, especially with the limited ammunition count that some of the Soviet fighters have. We're talking here about a single 23mm GSH-23L cannon with only 200 rounds. And the extremely high rate of fire again just lets you pull off things like this. While the G91 dodged the missile, he didn't dodge the bullets. So that's already 3 kills, but Copsey is out of missiles, and 2 hunters are coming in. Why would you take the head-ons? Just an easy dodge, and he is then on the tail on the F4C. In the background we can see a Mitsubishi T2, and I have to say, in the replay, despite going into the perspective of the player, there is just a little bit of a deviation from the actual player's view when it comes to the orientation, and I think this lets the replay look then in some situations really cool. Also, I have no idea what was going on with the river coloring, with the river sandbanks, side banks, whatever. I have no idea. It's not on my end. It seems to be a replay thing. I don't know. Copsey hovers a little bit over the clouds cover, and then the hunters coming in. Easy dodge. And he seems to be on the tail of yet another hunter. This again looks like one of those situations where a missile would be really easy to use, but at the same time, whenever one of those kills looks easy, it's so hard to really make it count. So the hunter tries to go after him, and then you can see the shots falling really short. It's not that he aimed them badly, but the speed difference was just so great. And now he is on his tail another Phantom, an F4C. And this is again where he's singling out the targets. I think Copsey is an absolute nightmare to deal with in a 1 versus 1. And this is why he, despite initially going in a multiple versus 1, he very often comes into a situation where he can single out somebody and then kill him. At least that is what I got from the 3 replays that he sent in. And I think it's just a joy to watch, and it's just, again, looking that easy. It's looking like he's doing this for a living, but maybe he is, I don't know. But anyways, then the Phantom overshoots, and that was a near miss. But now the Phantom is doomed because, well, he just gets hit unavoidably. In that stall situation, he has no chance. And then he dodges narrowly the fire from the hunter, which was really bad luck for the hunter. And he got his fourth kill on the Phantom that he kind of reversed. Now he's really dropping out of the sky, trying to get back some speed, and he is now out of missiles. He is already some 9 minutes into the game, or into the match. He has already extended some ammunition on some shots. So he is already, I wouldn't say worn out, but he has really done quite a lot in the match already. And obviously, always being on the afterburner, that is quite fuel consuming. That is a situation where he has not that many options left. He's undamaged though, so he has his full flight performance. And with the fuel coming low, he is then even lighter than usual. T2 slotting on his tail, and this is then where we just kind of see that he is very good also in the endgame scenario, where he just knows what to prioritize, what to do. So he tries to run away from the T2 that also seems to have expended all his missiles, or just doesn't have them in the first place. Now he is reaching the enemy airfield, and he sees a hunter that just landed and got repaired. So the problem in this situation, there are not that many enemy players left, so he has to cut the numbers, especially since he seems to be low on fuel and doesn't seem to have the most amount of ammunition left as well. So the T2 is closing on him, and he tries to make some turn. At some point he has to deal with the T2, he can't really run forever, and this is the first time that he is actually cutting the afterburner. So the T2 again tries to run, and so he reverses back to the airfield, and quick burst with the afterburner. Then he lets him glide with the normal performance of the engine. So he needs to kill the numbers here. He needs to kill the hunter, but in good allied fashion, the hunter is doing the favor for him. Lol. And strangely enough, at first, it seems like he's going yet for another, quick kill. Maybe he was salty on this. No. That was actually a smart try on his behalf, because the hunter crashed on the runway. So there is always the chance that the hunter is about to repair at that point when he might or might not be able to deal with the T2. So the T2 is coming over the runway, and he's giving him a quick burst, dodges, and then again, in cold blood, he goes for a direct pilot's night with a very short burst, and that was his kill assist. So obviously the kill on the hunter goes to the hunter because he crashed himself. Allied teams. And so again he's cutting the afterburner, letting the T2 close in. He needs to deal with this guy, and he needs to deal with him quickly. Also, the T2 is the last enemy player, since the other T2 shot down the Hunter FGA-9. Quick burst here with the afterburner, dodging the T2, and then this is a little bit of a stall fight. And you can see how he just give him a short burst, not really wasting all that ammunition, again using the afterburner to make the turn. And then the T2 makes those really awful corkscrew evading maneuvers. I hate when the enemy is doing this, because you think you can hit them, but you're not. Then he baited him into by turning away, and the T2 is turning into him. But now something really strange happens. Copsey is cutting the afterburner yet again, and the T2 seems to have unusual low amounts of energy. And here he dodged the last attempt of the T2 to kill him, and then going below 200, going nearly to 150 kilometers per hour in a stall. And while the T2's engine is running on vapors, so is Copsey's. So while he makes here sure that he gets a perfect shot on the T2, which, kind of salutes him. Beautiful last shot here, and that's his ace. But Copsey is also now out of fuel, and so he has to land and hope that, well, he can survive till the end of the match. The enemy team still has the points lead, but gladly Copsey is also not the last player on his team, so it doesn't really matter if he dies here or not. And in fact, here he comes to a standstill, and that's the game won. And that was Copsey, ladies and gentlemen, with 3 amazing gameplays. This is how real high tier skill looks like. And if you want to see more of this stuff, just feel free to click on the link in the video description down below where you get to his Twitch channel. Shoot him a follow, and happy greetings from me. That was amazing. Thank you for sending in the replays, at my request that is. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this featuring. Please give it a like if you did, subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see each other on the waves, on the battlefields, and in the skies of War Thunder.